innocent of all charges.
You're listening to Talking Elvis with Vince Wright and Ian Gray.
Hi there again. It's another episode of Talking Elvis. We're back again. Who's with me?
Good afternoon, viewers.
Good afternoon, viewers. It's Benny Hill. No.
Hey.
Good evening, viewers.
How are you?
Oh, I'm sure they're all lovely out there. Well, are they? That's the big question, isn't it?
I hope they are.
We hope everybody is. And if you're in self-isolation, what's better than having a podcast to listen to?
Indeed. You get fed up of watching the television at some point, because on Sky News they're talking about the virus. On BBC News they're talking about the virus. On Sky Sports News they're talking about the damn virus.
Do you know,
because they've got nothing else to talk about.
That's the thing, isn't it? So everybody is going to switch on to Netflix, and by the end of next week, you're going to have watched everything. So everybody will cancel their subscription. Like, nobody will be up to it in 2 weeks' time. They're like, I had me 14 days isolation. I watched everything.
If you are out there, just stay safe, folks. Wash your hands, do the right things, and stop panic buying.
Yes, right.
Goodness
and in an
sake.
Elvisy world, if you've got a fever, was it because you washed your hands in muddy waters? Right.
Oh, I was going to do that.
Gotcha.
1-0, Vince wins.
I have the power. I'd have edited you out and put me in anyway.
on a semi-serious note, then, it's a real shame, isn't it, that the United States have closed their airspace to visitors from Europe, including, sadly now, the UK and Ireland, because of the coronavirus, and people are missing out on going to Memphis, which I've got a couple of friends who are due to go next week, and that's you feel for them, because they've prepared for months, to have a massive, great big trip, and it's that's sad,
I mean, I'd like to think that I'm going in June, and I'd like to think it'll all be done by then, but I really have no idea. I really have no idea whether I'll be going or not.
Yeah, it's a worrying time, isn't it? If you're generally fit and healthy, then you're probably going to be all right, aside from having a flu sort of couple of weeks. But
yeah.
So hang in there, folks.
Well, the other one will be from the Elvisy world is if they cancel big public gatherings.
Oh yeah.
What's going to happen to That's the Way It Is?
Well, indeed, because cinemas in general are going to be...
they're going to be on that list.
Must be affected at some point, do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I can just see people going, well, I've got it on DVD. I won't bother just in case. Mm-hmm. And if we get low figures on that puts the mockers on that for no apparent reason. And, we got shafted with the 68 special. Was it cancelled? Was it cancelled? Was it cancelled? So people didn't know. And then I say with this one, we're going to have this against us.
Well, maybe a postponement rather than a cancellation, and maybe that's what they'll go for. Who knows?
Hopefully, that would be better, wouldn't it?
Actually, it'd be quite nice to go and see it. In the week before Christmas or something, so you can take a break from your panic buying Christmas shopping as well. So
yeah,
maybe then.
With our humdrum lives, yes, yeah. That'll be good. So, well, in the Corona Elvis world, obviously,
I am, and I've got a bottle of Corona right in front of me right now. So it's working for me.
Yes, the Corona physical. I had the T-shirt back in the day, and if you've got to be of a certain age to remember that the Corona pop man coming,
the pop man,
the pop man cometh. Right, but in the Elvis world with this virus, I suppose it struck home a little bit with the Tom Hanks.
Yes, him and his wife contracted, didn't they, when they were down in Australia, doing this Elvis biopic? I don't know what they're going to call it. Do you think they're going to just call it Elvis?
I think it'll be Colonel, or just be Colonel or Tom Park. Yeah, I don't think it'll be the Colonel. Yeah, and everybody will go expecting to get free chicken, right?
Works for me. Oh yeah, poor old Tom Hanks. I mean, he's been on social media, hasn't he, telling everybody that he's fine. They're getting on with it. So there's your example, folks. If Sheriff Woody's okay with
well, like I said, do you know what the doctor said to him?
No.
You are a toy, right? Somebody poisoned the water hole.
Oh God, he's done it again.
Is that?
Yeah, you're
have I done
pouring away.
two then?
You are, yeah. You're 2 for 2.
Sorry.
Oh dear, somebody had to, I guess. I suppose they're probably on shall we say light-hearted breakfast shows and radio shows up and down the country. They're probably too afraid to do all this type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, with this is my view. This is the great, the great British approach, isn't it? The laughter is the only way.
You have to, don't you?
Yeah, it is. We can all sit here in tears and doom and gloom, but let's have
a bit of wartime spirit, shall we? A bit of
spirit of the Blitz,
and we'll dig up Virulent to sing to us again. How's that?
Yeah. So Colonel movies delayed a bit.
Yep.
So that's in the news. Have you got any other news and views from the Elvis world?
No, it's just been dominated by this travel ban, really, because a couple of friends of mine were due to go, so they were due to go this week, and there's stuff. So haven't really heard much else coming out of the Elvis world this week. To be honest,
so other things I've got. Record Store Day has been postponed.
How can you postpone a record store day? Are they afraid people are going to panic buy records now?
No, it's going to be all getting into one shop and licking each other.
Oh, right, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you tend to do that in a record store, don't you?
Yeah, so the Record Store Day where they have the special one-day releases.
I suppose people are always going through it with their hands, aren't they, and going through every.
But that's the one day where they issue albums that are only available that day.
Oh, right, okay.
So if you're not familiar with Record Store Day, they've over the years they put some nice Elvis stuff out. So far, what I've seen has been a bit rubbish for this year, anyway. So I'm not that worried. But yeah, I always go and queue. But that's been put back to June the 20th now. So with a bit of luck, if I am in Memphis, I can actually do Record Store Day in America for a change.
Oh, if you're in Memphis, you're on Beale Street.
It'd be good news, bad news. I can see what's happening. Other news, what have we got? I've just ordered the Follow That Dream Kid Galahad box set. So if that's in the same deal as the Viva Las Vegas.
Splendid. That's the same format and
same deal again, isn't it? They're onto a winning formula with that one.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can really go wrong with that. I got a nice interview done for the show in the week with David English. Mean anything to you?
I want to say yes because it's
I could say it's one of those that you think no, but when I say all those lovely books that Follow That Dream put out,
yes,
the ones that cost an arm and a leg and they're gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so he's one of the authors behind that. So the Viva Las Vegas one writes articles for everything, but the That's the Way It Is box set. Very interesting interview with him the other day, talking about what's on the CDs that come with it, and the best part of the interview is the things he doesn't say rather than the things he does. So have a listen to that hopefully in the next couple of weeks, where I ask a little bit more than I should, and he sometimes gives. That's very nice.
Oh, splendid stuff. I'll look forward to that.
I think that's my news and views. Yeah, I don't think there's a fat lot else going on. All the toilet rolls have gone. Yeah, we've washed our hands. We've done everything else. Let's do the show then.
Yes, indeed. Oh, there's a show to do. Okay.
And how far apart are we? Are we the required distance to be apart?
We're at least 2 meters and we haven't shook hands.
Yeah. So, and it's more like 110, is it? Something like that?
Something like that, yes.
110 miles. Oh, right,
yeah.
So I think we should be all right with this one, with the great wide world of Tinterweb.
I'm sure we will. Yeah, that computer virus thing is just a myth.
This is Henrik Knudsen from the Memphis Mansion in Randers, Denmark, and you are listening to the Talking Elvis podcast.
So shall we just go for it? As we promised, the topic this week we wanted to talk about, inspired by somebody that wrote to me last week, was what magazines from the Elvis world are you reading at the moment? So we've had a few bits and pieces. People have written in and told us. What do you subscribe to?
Currently, at the moment, I just subscribe to the official Elvis Presley fan club of Great Britain, which is a very long and sort of grandiose sort of title, isn't it? They've held that sort of thing official Elvis Presley fan club for 50 years, haven't they now?
Yeah.
But that's the only one at the moment, because I did take a break for a little while from the Elvis world in general.
So what do you reckon to these things? So we'll start with that one. So
It's not what it was, is it?
It's not what it was in a good way. Well, were you an Elvis Monthly reader?
Yeah, occasionally, and that was very good, I thought, because
I went from sort of late 70s. I bought them all, and was such an anorak. I went backwards and bought all them as well.
Yeah.
Right. So I've got from the second series, got a couple in the first series. I haven't, but I've got them all. And I was looking at those this week as well. But there was a period where it was very much like the girls in That's the Way It Is, taking the cat up to the gates, wasn't it?
Oh God, yes.
There was a lot of the Tinkerbell articles. I think we've come away from that now, so we're better now. What would you say was the highlight of the magazine for you this last one?
Well, the current one, of course, you had 7 pages of Elvis on tour. Which was very, very good, because it's all about Elvis. It's all about the movie. It's all about the tours and all this sort of stuff. There's 47 pages in total of this magazine. Now, if you take away 14 pages of adverts,
I was going to say it is
follow that dreams or join the fan club or whatever, and 20 pages of loosely related Elvis stories. Now we're talking about black music history here, aren't we? With the most recent one.
Yeah.
So there's articles on Jackie Wilson, Sammy Davis, Roy Hamilton, Fats Domino, people like that. Sweet inspiration. Then you got 6 pages of photographs of Elvis. So you've only, in a 47-page magazine, got 7 pages of anything reading which is directly Elvis.
Yeah. Do you think it's stuff that the casual fan will be interested in, or stuff that the diehard would be interested in?
I think it's almost it's probably a better read for a music fan, a general music, because you're only talking one major article about Elvis in the whole thing, because in these other articles about the Black History Month and all this sort of stuff, you've got Elvis met Jackie Wilson on this date, but Jackie Wilson did this, and there's a page and a half about Jackie Wilson then.
Oh, that's good then. So, I like the history. I like to go and who influenced him and where did he go and why did he do this. So I think that it's not I've got the 40 greatest and I go to the Red Lion to see him brigade.
No, not at all.
No, because I think it did have a very much that neck of the woods, wasn't it, for a while?
Yeah,
it would have been sort of fan like that. Is there much in that latest one, ETA?
No, very little. There is an advertisement for the ETA thing that's happening in this year sometime. I can't remember when exactly it is. There's an advertisement for that, and that's as far as it goes. I dare say, once the event has happened and we got 1 million photographs, then it's going to be an ETA special, which is then when somebody like me probably goes, I think I'm going to pull the plug here.
Yeah. What do you think of the quality as a magazine?
The quality has remained consistently good, to be honest with you, hasn't it? It's glossy magazine. Like I say, there's seven or 8 pages of Elvis photographs themselves. If that's
the quality of the photographs.
Absolutely, very good.
I think that was an Elvis Monthly thing, that the origination of the pictures had really gone down the nick, hadn't they? Because they were, 10th generation. I don't know if you noticed when I did the advert to say that the Facebook advert I made for the That's the Way It Is one, I put out those pictures. They were top-notch quality pictures, because I didn't just rob them off the internet. The distribution company of the movie sent them me.
Oh wow! Because they were outstanding.
So you had really good quality pictures to play with, which was much nicer than trying to nick a thumbnail off somebody else's website.
Not that you would do that anyway.
I've heard it's done. Yeah. All right. So quality, a flimsy mag, stick it in your pocket. Is it a keeper, or is it a read it and then chuck it in the charity shop?
No, I keep them. I keep them these days. I put them in a box, never to see the light of day again.
Yeah.
I had a cull about 10, 12 years ago where I had to just like, this is silly, I'm carting boxes from place to place to place. So the Elvis Monthlies went and the old magazines went then, so that was a bit, I mean, I look back at it now and think, well, should I have got rid of them? But then 10 or 12 years later, they've still been in that same box without having never seen the light of day.
It is that thing about having them, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
You know, I've got these Elvis Monthlies, and I used to carry a little notebook around with all the numbers in of all the ones I needed. So if I turned up at a junk shop, I could go, oh yeah, I've got this or I've got that. And it was lovely because you'd go out, you'd buy it, stick it in a box, and that was it. And you never read them all, because I found collecting the older ones, the information was out of date, wasn't it? We've got so much better information in the modern books that going back to 1964, you're not going to get a fat lot of new info that you didn't have anyway, are you?
But there again, when if you think about the originality of it all at the time, it was hot news, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean when
it did a job, didn't it?
When you read that, some of them, the nice bits I like is where they say, oh, Elvis's next movie is, and then they use the working title.
Yeah.
And that's great in that. And then in a couple of months' time, they go, no, it's called Roustabout now. Oh, right, fair enough. And those are good. Yeah, so I suppose you win on that one. Does this latest magazine, the fan club one, does it try and live on its former glory?
Apart from the title of it, not really. The editorial's always been consistent anyway from Todd Slaughter.
I'm going to say, is it still Todd?
Well, he has.
He's got a bit of a team together now, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, and he's passed over. If I just grab the magazine here, this is on off the cuff research, folks. So he's actually got on the bottom of the editorial from Todd Slaughter, Andy Page, Henry Nichols, Sam Jones, Lynn Kirk, Glenda Pickering, and John Aldersey. I know Andy Page is the one who was doing probably most of the work, to be honest with you. So I don't even know if Todd is hands on with this or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
and how often does it come out now? It's every 2 months.
It's once every 3 months actually. So it's quarterly. So you get 4 magazines. Probably get a bonus magazine each year as well. So you get 5 magazines a year, which is not too bad, because after all, I mean, how much can you possibly write on Elvis that hasn't been written already?
Well, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Because you had an Elvis Monthly, you had it every month, and I think back then I was probably buying Elvisly Yours, Elvis Collector, and the fan club. Yeah. But you probably didn't get as much going on as now. I mean, as a collector now, probably more than a fan. I want to hear articles about how many different formats of cassette were made. I want to know the also runs. I think this was a thing that proved to me when we went to Denmark, and I love to see the also ran stuff. I like to see the other side of it, not just Elvis touched this, but this made Elvis, this influenced Elvis, this was, and I think it's that bit now that I like the fuller story. So I think these things like Black Music Month and all that is really good, that it teaches us the history of Elvis properly.
Yeah, we wouldn't have got these type of articles back 20, 30 years ago, would we?
No.
It would have been about specifically about an Elvis subject.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have had all this because there was, I don't know. Maybe people just didn't want it. I don't know. Who knows?
But they must be selling enough to do it, isn't it?
Well, keep going, don't they? So
I mean, in a digital age, should we be having a printed magazine?
You're not going to start telling me to save the planet now, are you?
I think so. Todd's magazine's been there.
It's still consistently there all these years, and it's like an old family favourite now, isn't it?
Yeah. So that magazine, how much?
If you want to buy it magazine to magazine, it's £3. I think the actual subscription fee is around about £18 to £20, is it? Something like that per year.
Yeah, that's what they're all pretty much about the same. So for the person listening in today who's never signed up, yes or no?
Yes, at the moment, yes, it still holds as one of the decent magazines, and something that comes across as being a genuine fan, which is what we want to relate to.
Yeah. And do you wear the badge?
I have got a badge, and I do still wear it. Yes,
Mate, it's bad, isn't it?
I've still got it.
What a beauty.
Actually, it's in my kitchen on the side at the moment because I've just washed the jacket that it was on, so I need to put that back on. So yes.
Excellent stuff. Mine's on my ukulele case at the moment, but that's another story. Excellent stuff. So let's have a think. So that's the Elvis Fan Club magazine.
Hi, guys. This is Jamie Kay from the Jungle Room podcast, and you're listening to Vince Wright and Ian Gray on the Talking Elvis podcast.
The other one that I subscribe to at the moment is The Man and His Music.
No, that's the new one. I mean, I know it's been around for years, hasn't it? But I've
I
can honestly say I've never picked up a single Man and His Music magazine. So this is on you, this bit.
Right. Now Dig This magazine is a great rock and roll magazine. So years and years and years ago, I used to play around with that one when they used to come out. I mean, we're on about the 80s here, yeah. We're on what is it? Now Dig This was
loads of stuff in the 80s, wasn't there?
April 83, right? So that started. Elvis the Man and His Music has been since 88.
Oh right, so it's quite an established.
So it's been now. I like it. I think when the fan club seemed to be, my cat loves Elvis, and the ultimate. Do you remember the one that probably really sold it to me to give up was the 3-page article on Return to Sender about the American Postal Service.
Yes. Yeah.
So this magazine I like. So looking one here, £3.50 is the cover price. Weight wise, is it double? How many pages did you say that other one was?
The latest one was 47 pages.
Yeah, so this is 42, I think. Probably a heavier duty paperwork, if you know what grams paper comes in, and glossy. Still happy with all that. Let's have a look. Follow That Dream adverts. Follow that too. And lots of not too bad for there.
Did it start off in this present phase, or has it developed into this thing? Because I seem to remember that one or two people started doing magazines which you could subscribe to, and it was almost like a newspaper, wasn't it? It was like a tabloid.
Yeah. Now this was like this. Now this has got much less adverts in it. There's only 2 or 3 pages of adverts, which is nice. I like the level of the articles on here. So you're going to get your reviews. And now Trevor, the editor, who's been around in the Elvis world forever, he's another one of these that knows everybody. So he's managed to get all the cracking interviews. They've had everybody. Yeah. So over the years they've done that. He starts off with a nice find out what's happening, what's in the news Elvis worldwide here. Yeah. Lots of reviews. By the same people, so he's got a nice little team there. Trevor's in there, and all the other the big names of who you expect to know. And I found their reviews very good. It was interesting reading the review in here this time of the Viva Las Vegas book when I was talking to David English the other day, because I just read the article about reviewing that in here. Right, okay. It said it oozes class, and I love that. And I think that's the thing for this magazine that I like, is the tone. I like how it's written. I like that they talk about an infestation of impersonators at a holiday camp.
So they are talking straight off the knuckle then, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And
honestly, it's good. You can't why try and paper over the the bits that you don't like. You got to say it how it is, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think the articles are it's not all about this bird kissed Elvis once, so we better give her 23 pages.
Yeah.
My favourite bit in the latest one is the day by day of what happened in March 1960.
Day by days are always good.
Which they're just great, aren't they? Picked quality, loving it again. All the stuff from the Sinatra show, not just the bog standard half a dozen pictures that we always say. And there's always a thing at the end that tells you the pictures where they've come from.
Oh,
so that's really nice. You don't just go, I wonder where that is. So wherever possible, they'll go, that's the Aloha dress rehearsal, and that was courtesy of NBC, and that was on stage in Missouri on a Tuesday afternoon.
Oh, I prefer that type of thing. I think that's
good.
I like
but they do it as a page at the end, so it's not underneath the picture getting in the way. So you read the article, you see the picture, it's enjoyable. And I really like that. All the Follow That Dreams are in there because they sell that, but they don't sell everything. Right. They don't claim to be the shop that sells everything. They do the Follow That Dreams. So that's got. So at the moment, I've been getting mine from there because it's been speedy and I can order online and it just gets done. So I've been happy with that one just lately, which means that I probably shop around a bit more. For me, others, there's not a one shop sells all for me Elvis stuff here that I use at the moment.
So the articles on this are they basically about Elvis, or have we gone off on a tangent like we did with the other ones with the
No. I think that we might have. I was the second cameraman on GI Blues, and this is some of the other work I've done. But basically, no, it's Elvis, or I knew Elvis, or here's a review of, or here's a format of stuff that you collect, whether you collect books, tapes, CDs, whatever it is, and they'll have obscure. Did you know that the Norwegian picture disc was different to everybody else? So it's nice and Anaraki in that way.
That's a little bit of a throwback to the older days, isn't it?
Which I like.
That type of review, which I prefer, to be quite honest with you.
I like the review of the bootlegs because I don't buy every bootleg.
No.
Because I not of the soundboards.
Yeah, you do.
I just got sick of a lot of it. But when you read the review and you go in and he does one line of, and you go, right, I got to have it. That's great, But I haven't had to go and say 22 quid for pretty much nothing. I can go, well, I'll have that one, or I'll have that one, or I won't. The studio stuff, I tend to buy that anyway. So I like it. Nice, handy size. I've tended to read this. I think the pulling power of this is when it comes through the door, I open it, I have a good scan. I don't just chuck it on the side and think I'll look at it later.
Right. So it's what you look forward to then.
Yeah. So you usually start seeing on Facebook, we've had it back from the printers, it's coming out in the next few days. Then you could start going, all right, I know it's coming, because I would never know how often it was coming otherwise. But I like that one. So I put that down as a winner, and
good.
Sign up and do it, and and have it now.
You sold me.
I think there's at the moment there's probably a third one on the market. You used to have Essential Elvis as well, didn't you?
Yeah, but I've been looking through some of my older copies. And I must admit I always enjoyed that one because it was the quality of the magazine for a start was up market from.
I'm gonna say that was always that little stiffer cover. Felt a bit. It wasn't one you're going to roll up and put it in your pocket like Grey Sports Almanac.
No,
no,
not at all. Not at all. The quality of it was very, very good, and I found that this was all about Elvis or the goings on at Graceland, or it was. I think it was closer to Elvis than it was than even the fan club one is. To be honest with you, that's my personal opinion. Because they do review every single bootleg that comes out, and I don't mind that either. I mean, I wouldn't say I was reading all of the articles, but I would certainly look at them and think, well, actually, there's no other magazine I can see that is reviewing this.
Yeah.
So at least it gives me the reader another option to go into another part of the market and go, well, actually, that's not official. It's not Follow That Dream. It's not whatever. But I might go and buy this based on this review. Yeah, because it just goes into every sort of last track, why it was there, why it was recorded, the studio times, all this sort of stuff, and it actually gives you a breakdown, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's the wonderful thing. Well, partly why I think we're doing a podcast now is we don't claim to know everything, but there's some people out there with an amazing knowledge, and we want to go, Tell us about that story. So we'll give you our opinion on this, but then but we'll also be saying, now go and read that book, go and get that bootleg, have a listen to this. So with the Essential, the bit I liked was you knew everything that was coming out, and you might go, oh, it's a rehash. But when those come out and you go, oh, there's a Spin Out Sessions 3 CD box set, then you could make the decision and go, I'm having that, and then you knew you wanted to order it, where you probably wouldn't know it, all of them anyway, would you? You wouldn't know where everything was. So I'd say that's an Essential one.
I think so. I think the quality of the writing is very good as well. When you got people like Trevor Simpson writing for you,
this is the thing here, is it's the quality again. That's why. So I've been having that and The Man and His Music for a while now, and I've only just sort of come back to the fan club one. But they're not copying each other. So in my opinion, you need all three, don't you? You need to keep up to date.
I think you do if you're that way inclined. It's good to have that variety, isn't it? Because why would you want everything all the same? You know, if you even chuck in Elvis Lee Yours, who went out of business 20 odd years ago, that was different as well, wasn't it? You know, it had a different slant on things.
If you wanted to buy a bar of soap with Elvis on, you knew where to go, and that's it. And I think that's the thing now. Like, we've got all the holiday camps. We've got this holiday camp will, they'll have a tribute band to the Sweet, and they'll play Elvis all day long. This one is going to be ETAs, and I know I'm not going to the ETA one. I might, I'm going to turn up at an Elvis do for Loud Elvis in a disco. I want that. But I think these mags, they've still got a good future. I'd be interested to know what readership's like, but nobody's going to tell you those figures. But I look forward to them.
Yeah, absolutely, because the online market and social media platforms has decreased readership of actual physical magazines, haven't they? Yeah. Which is a shame, and they're not going to print them off in digital format because the Elvis crowd just don't want digital format. They want to collect everything,
Yeah. It's funny that that I was always a diehard and said I wouldn't want things in digital format, but now I'm thinking, would I like all the Elvis movies to stream at the push of a button? So I haven't got to get on my knees and open that DVD drawer to put the disc in and then find the remote, change the input. Yes, but we did that. So I think the magazines, that's the three I think are out there at the moment.
Yeah, well done to them.
I'm sure there's a few others that people are having. A lot of the digital stuff is Facebook, isn't it now? So people are putting the news out straight away.
That's the most popular one, isn't it?
And I think the podcast, obviously, we've talked about all the different people we work with on those, but the other one is YouTube, isn't it? With people like Spar Guy,
absolutely,
who have made it a magazine, but a video magazine in a way, and those are wonderful. So I think all of this goes on together. Is happy days for the Elvis world.
It really is. I mean, it could have dropped off significantly. I think it did drop off for a little while before, say, 2000, 2001, when we had a little less conversation come out in 2002, didn't we? The remix of that.
Yeah.
So in the 90s, it was a very sort of quiet sort of time for Elvis, and it sort of took off, and interests was reignited, shall we say, and it forced the record companies to think, hang on, there's a bit of interest here. There's a bit of extra interest which we thought had disappeared. And it's gone, and it's snowballed from there, hasn't it? So because you can still buy books, you can still buy Follow That Dreams, all this sort of stuff, So I don't know of any other magazines out there. If you're listening to our voices now, and you have got a magazine that you'd like to push on here, then send us a copy. We'll always review it for you.
Sounds great. Because the more we have, the better. And I haven't looked at a Now Dig This for ages. Tell us how that is. Is there much Elvis input in that one? Is there any other rockabilly or country swing mags that would be? Is there a magazine out there called Gospel Weekly that features Elvis that we haven't even thought of?
Yeah, because every now and then you do get the Rock and Roll Vintage magazine, don't you? And they have an Elvis feature 2 or 3 times a year, don't they? So That's always good to have if you can find that. I mean, those are the sort of things I tend to buy once or twice a year because it's got a great big picture of Elvis on the front, and they're normally a good read. So
Well, it's one of you buy it at Smith's at the airport, don't you?
pretty much, yeah. I mean, I've got a couple of lovely magazines which I should have brought down and reviewed actually for this show, but I didn't because I was lazy. Which a family of mine in America got for me, and they were special one-off magazines from Time and from Newsweek, which are superbly stuffed there. So one-off publications as well. I think there's enough in the market there where maybe
can we have
we can do that one, can't we? We can do that for half an hour.
Were they this year's or last year?
One was last year.
Oh right. Oh, have a go on that. We'll talk about that another day because I'd like to know a bit about that. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that another week.
Yeah, good idea.
That would be nice.
Good idea. Planning for a podcast whilst on the podcast is always good stuff.
Yes.
Gotta write that down now.
This is the making of. Yeah. Good stuff then.
Find us at www.talkingelvis.co.uk or Facebook or YouTube or Spotify. In fact, any place you get your podcasts.
Right then, so I'm on my third bottle of Corona lager here, so the other lagers are available. So we're gonna carry on with you for just a few minutes time. So that was quite good talking about magazines. So like I said to you, if you have got magazines that we didn't mention there, then please do get in touch. Ian at talkingelvis.co.uk or Vince at talkingelvis.co.uk, and that will get you all into us as well. Okay, then, but don't just stop there. Don't just stop at the magazines, because for the next few minutes before we wrap up on Talking Elvis today, we're going to be talking about what you, the listener, and I hope there's more than one of you, wants out of us, because let's face it, Vince and myself can talk for ages and ages and ages and not worry about anybody else's interaction or opinion whatsoever. So let's face it, it's true, isn't it? So we can do that. So what do you want to hear? So there's loads of stuff to talk about out there, isn't there?
It is, and not just what you want us to talk about. If you are passionate enough about this, let's get you on the show.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
you can come on the show.
You can come and do this. If you want to email us your little video message, then send it to us, or an audio message, and we can stick that in as long as it's all copyright free and everybody's happy. We're all right. So don't have GI Blues playing in the background, but we'd stick things in. We've been having a nice bit of feedback on Facebook and some emails, and thank you, some really positive things that people like. It is us waffling down the pub basically, but a little bit more formal. But let's get what we want into it. Let's get, what do you want to know more about? We don't claim to have the answers, but we'll have a look. We'll find out. We'll get the people in that can. So would you want us to do each of the movies individually, our take on the movies, whether it's the movie itself, the songs, the trailers? That's one view. Well, any other ideas?
Yeah, it's like, what do you think? Is there too many Follow That Dreams out there? Or do you fancy, do you want more from the 70s soundboards that are out there? We've mentioned briefly Elvis on tour, and we've got some stuff coming up on that over the next few weeks. We can do, what do you want to do? The history? Do you want to do from the 50s, early 50s, 54 onwards? Do you want to do the 60s, the movie years? So just let us know. And like I said, get in touch. Ian at talkingelvis.co.uk or
Vince, I nearly nodded off then. I was reading my notes. They're very interesting. I'm ever so good. Vince at, nearly gave the work one then, talkingelvis.co.uk. I will be updating the website. I've just been a little bit slow because I'm not that technically minded, but I'm getting there. I think for other topics, obviously when we go out and about like we did to Randers, anytime we do anything, it'll be interesting. I've just come across a museum that is very interesting that I'm and nothing to do with Elvis, but I realised there's an Elvis connection that I'm going to go to, and I've written to the guy there and said, "Will you do an interview?" Because it just slapped me in the face. I thought of the connection, so I'll be off there anyway for the other reason of it, because I'm an anorak for a lot of things. But if you've got something out there, or you say you've been to the Museum of Toys and you saw that, there was an Elvis guitar there, or something, let us know weird things like that so we can go and find out what they've got. Another one I would love to do is send us your pictures on Facebook, if you can, of you and the Elvis stuff at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh, that's a very good one. I saw a couple of pictures during the week.
Yeah, I was just going through my photos on my camera and on my phone, and I found some, and I just thought, how much is out there? What is there? Is it there today? Is it moved at the end of the week? Love to do a load on that, and we'll see if we can get a comment from them on it as well.
Yeah, because when you go to any Hard Rock Cafe across the world, you just say to whoever you want, "I'm just going to the bathroom," and then you come back 25 minutes later because you've been looking at all the stuff on the walls.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's always good stuff.
Because, where are the toilets? You go down to the Bob Dylan gold disc, you turn right at John Lennon's piano, you go past Elvis's jumpsuit.
Hey, we've seen John Lennon's piano, by the way, haven't we? So
oh yes.
So,
I mean, that's another thing. Go back to Liverpool. I must do the Beatles museum again.
That was fun, actually, wasn't it? I know we're not supposed to say that on an Elvis podcast, but that was quite fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. It really was. So I think we've pretty much come to an end of it all there.
Yeah.
So stay well, everybody. Wash your hands.
Indeed. Yeah. Be careful and look after others who are less able to do so as well. That's always good. Be community spirited. If you're going to buy 17 packs of toilet roll, then distribute a dozen of them to others who cannot maybe get out to the shops or are a bit too afraid to. So think about that when you're panic buying. Okay.
Lovely jubbly. Right, I'm going to go and have that lager now that you've inspired me to have. So I'm going to go, Stella!
Splendid stuff. And it's a goodbye from him.
Thank you very much.